Hi, have you ever wondered how a small team can grow into a huge company of over 2,000 employees? Or what it takes to transition a family business into a big professional enterprise that stands out in the competitive FMCG sector? Today, we will get into these big questions. I'm Kiran Maestri. Welcome to our Future of Our People podcast series. It's a series dedicated to leaders who are shaping the future of work. Each week, we engage with CEOs, senior leaders, and chairmen and try to understand the transformative dynamics of today's leadership, cultivating a strong workplace culture, and getting your employees engaged and motivated to drive the business growth. On that note, I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Manish Chabra, the Executive Chairman of Hygienic Research Institute Private Limited. In a nutshell, HRI. Mr. Manish, who rose from a floor chemist to an executive chairman, and over 3 decades, he spearheaded the company's growth to a 2,000 plus employee growth and an international turnover exceeding 800 crores, that's circa $100 million, marking a transition to a professionally run enterprise. Under his leadership, the company has won several accolades for workplace excellence and innovation. Beyond HRI, Mr. Manish extends his expertise as an advisor and an investor in startups and family businesses. Today, we're looking forward to learning about Mr. Manish's strategies and gathering practical tips from his experience. Mr. Manish, welcome. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and pleasure to be here and chatting with you. I've seen a few of your podcasts, and I'm really excited that work which you are doing in this mad world of startups and young entrepreneurs coming up, which is a very wonderful thing happening. You're doing a good job. I compliment you for that. Thank you.
You created a great success story, and we wanted to know that your journey in terms of what it took for you to take from that more humble a team of 20 people to a 2,000 plus people, right? Mr. Manish, I often start with purpose, right? Because that's a norm. But again, I would love to get to know your purpose in terms of what drives you and your organization and how your purpose has evolved over a period of time. Could you enlighten with us?
Yeah, purpose is a very important thing which you should always be mindful of when you are starting any journey. That what's the purpose, or you may call it what's the call for action, or why you are doing what. And before I go on to purpose, let me be very clear that let's not mistake it with the vision and mission. When I'm talking about purpose, I am basically going to tell you that purpose is something which is fluid and it keeps on changing at different stages of your life. And I will stick to professional life right now and not talk about the personal life at this point. So, just to give you a context, when I started at the age of 19, the purpose was very simple: survive. And that's what brought me into business. With my mother, we started together actually. I lost my father at a very early age. So the only purpose at that point of time was survive. My brother was very young. He joined after 5 years when I started. So 3 of us together with our wonderful team should take the credit. And I say 3 of us with our wonderful team, all of us together should be credited in this journey from 20 to 2000. No single person can do it. So that's a caveat which you should understand. And whenever I speak during this interview, pardon me if I use the word I, but take it as us, we, HRIPA. I avoid using the word I, but sometimes during English is a funny language, you use that word. So please take it as we and us in the professional life. So yes, to answer your question very simply, the first, and I will divide it into, let us say, 3 decades. The first decade, the purpose was to survive, just to make a good team, to have a meaningful business setup, which will ensure that your bread and butter is taken care of, and you are starting to have a good life, and you are able to maintain your particular lifestyle. We were from a small place. So I'm being very practical. That's the very, nobody will tell you this, but that's what the first purpose is when you start. Once you grow to a particular level, and once I say we reached 100 crores, that time we started thinking, okay, now what? Then the purpose was very clear: how to be relevant in this competitive world. Initially when we had started, there were only few brands, less competition. So you were just surviving. Everybody was making a place for themselves, and everybody was good. All my peers in this beauty and personal care would have done amazingly well, amazingly good brands, and I compliment them for what they have done. We all found our niches, and we went on growing. Once you reach 100 crore, the competition increases. Now you want to be relevant. So you start all your activities, all your initiatives, start moving around in that direction by saying, okay, how do I make when I say the brands relevant in the eye of the consumer? Because the consumer at that point of time started having choices. And now you have to be relevant to that consumer of yours because he has choices. And then you start working in that direction. Cut to 20 years in my journey, the consumer is now spoiled for choices because he has many and he has wonderful choices and they are really good. No product is bad, no other brand is bad. They all come with a purpose, they all have a proposition. Now, how do you differentiate yourself from them? That became a very organizational purpose and we started moving in that direction. 10 years down the line, once you reach a particular level,
you created a great success story, and we wanted to know that your journey in terms of what it took for you to take from that more humble a team of 20 people to a 2,000 plus people, right? Mr. Manish, I often start with purpose, right? Because that's a norm. But again, I would love to get to know your purpose in terms of what drives you and your organization and how your purpose has evolved over a period of time. Could you enlighten with us?
Yeah, purpose is a very important thing which you should always be mindful of when you are starting any journey. That what's the purpose, or you may call it what's the call for action, or why you are doing what. And before I go on to purpose, let me be very clear that let's not mistake it with the vision and mission. When I am talking about purpose, I am basically going to tell you that purpose is something which is fluid and it keeps on changing at different stages of your life. And I will stick to professional life right now and not talk about the personal life at this point. So, just to give you a context when I start, and now value creation comes in the back of your mind.
Yep.
And all this said, you ensure three things, which is very important when you are growing in the organization and when your, purpose or the word purpose you use, or I would say your plan changes year on year, 3 years. There's a short-term plan, there's a long-term plan, there's a strategic vision. So you start moving towards your strategic vision with having short-term goals, but all activities complement your long-term strategic vision, and that's how you keep on moving. So if you have that clarity in your mind, I think all organizations do good. And I'm just talking this related to organization.
No, absolutely. And I think that's in fact, it's a great learning as well. As you started, right? It started with survival, then you wanted to become relevant. Now you're in the value creation mode. So it's a great learning for us as right. Purpose keeps, it changes, but the key idea is your purpose aligns to organizational purpose now, right? As an organization, value creation, and how that purpose can be translated to each employee's purpose as well.
The given thing is everybody is aligned with a single vision.
Yes.
Once a single vision is aligned, then everything else falls in place. So the idea is to get your vision aligned all across from top to bottom.
And in fact, I have a follow-up question on that as well, but I will hold on to that. But I would love to get a bit more understanding from a leadership, because You've been recognized, and I've seen several accolades of yourself from an exemplary leadership standpoint. I believe you recently also won an award, Asian Award as well. So, especially during time of crisis, right? And could you share your leadership philosophy in general over the years? Because you're a classic example for me to learn, and perhaps for viewers to learn. Like you are managing a small team of 20, the way you have taken now to 2,000 plus workforce is no small feat. So, how has your leadership style evolved and over the years?
Okay, I heard this in a seminar and I take cue from them. That particular seminar which I attended, there's a seminar on situational leadership,
Okay.
and I would request all the viewers to understand that meaning of situational leadership in a much easy way. And if everybody reflects on their lifestyle and their journey, at some point of time they would have done the same. I'm just trying to articulate it for you and you understand. So, when you're growing and when your team is expanding, the first stage of leadership is direction and follow. The direction, you are directing and your people are following. Just keep it that simple. Because they have just joined you, you have to direct them. There is no plug and play out here that you plug and the TV starts and the movie starts. It doesn't happen that way. The phase or the tenure in which you will be in that phase of direction and follow will depend on time to time and stage in which you are. So the first is direction, you direct and your team follows. Once you reach a particular level of confidence, then you go to coaching and open mind. Now, at that, you are coaching the team, and the team is open in learning. So, create an atmosphere where learning becomes the center of your leadership style, where you learn from them, they learn from you, and then it is coaching and learning. Because every person who joins your organization has something to give you, and you should be open to learn. So hence I said coaching and open mind. And it is both you and him together. Once you have reached that confidence, there will be some people you will find out, okay, fine, they are now emerging leaders. Here you take participation and supportive, where he is participating in all the initiatives and you are supporting. And now he becomes first and you become second, because he is participating, he is leading and you are supporting. Now this becomes very important because you have passed the first two stages of directing and coaching, and now you should move in that phase of saying, now you participate, you take care of the initiatives, I will support you. And then the last part is delegation.
Okay.
When you delegate, then it is trust. It is you and him. Now you have trusted in him, you have delegated in him, you delegate to him, and then leave it. Don't try to do backseat driving. The biggest mistake which leaders make is they delegate a particular job or a particular activity or a particular project to their leaders, but they still sit in the car in the back seat. Imagine you have a son or you have a child. If he's going for a first time to drive, and now you are sitting behind, and now he's driving, and you have coached him, okay? You have gone for the learning lessons, you have been besides him, and now he's going, and you are sitting behind, and you start saying, "Hey, turn left here. Now what are you doing, man? Did you see the car is coming from behind? And go slow, buddy." Now this is wrong, a complete no. So leaders should stop backseat driving and allow, once you delegate, you have delegated. You can keep on reviewing. You can have processes and mechanisms in place where you can evaluate the performance of a leader, but once you delegate and you move out. If you follow these 4 steps properly, directing, coaching, participation, supportive, and delegation, then everything moves smoothly. Now, whether you will delegate after a year, or you will delegate in 1 month, or delegate in 3 months, that depends from person to person, job to job, project to project, role to role, each one to his own. So there is no set formula written in a book. There are many things. Hence, I always say leadership is each one to his own. I can share my experiences. You have to pick and choose what is relevant to you and then apply it in your organization or your lifestyle or whatever the way you want to, but do not try to replicate because circumstances are different for every other person. So that is my advice. But imagine, we did all that, okay? You use the word crisis. There was a crisis which the whole world faced, COVID. Now, as a leader, at that point of time, the core team, me and my family, we realized that now things have to change. There will be different ways of working, different styles of working. See, we have a field force of 1,100 people on the field. Now they all had to go out. They were trained in a particular manner to do their daily calls, to do their weekly calls, to do their weekly calls. Now all they went out of the window. It's all because you can't go out. So now what do? So you go back. You realize what the thing is. You go back from stage 1. You first understand what is the right way. Then you direct. Then you coach. And then you be supportive and then you delegate. And that all had to be done in a span of 4 weeks. Because nobody was ready for this. Even I was not ready for it. We had to go for telecom. We had to do many things to be relevant. Let me tell you, I'm so proud of my team. So very proud of my team that in spite of, after the first 4 months of COVID, we were back on track. In fact, we grew. And that was because each and every leader, so we used to have town halls of only the leadership team at each and every state, 70 of us. We would discuss, come out with the formula, say, okay, fine, this is the right way of doing things right now. We used to direct them and then we used to coach the leaders behind. Coming 1 week, sir, this did not work. Okay, chalk out. Okay, this will work. Keep on changing, keep on. On the 4th week, we found the right recipe to go to market without putting anybody of us in harm's way. That was the first dictate. So leadership styles will keep on changing based on the situation. But these 4 steps are common all the time. And if you follow it thoroughly, success is at your doorstep.
This is great, Manish. In fact, the 4-step framework I've written down myself as well, right? Having that directive and also having that coaching mindset. In fact, I was looking at one of the amazing study from Gallup recently, how the employee expectations are shifting, right? The expectations are shifting in a way because they don't want just your managers to give their feedback on 360-degree annual review, right? They want to have ongoing conversation there. And in fact, managers need to have that coaching mindset to coach, like the way you pointed out, right? So this 4-step framework and adapting a situational leadership can help you in any kind of crisis, like it has worked for you in a COVID as an example as well.